Alright, welcome back. So, 3x3 time. This one I made a couple of weeks ago now, together with Hampter. But it's quite cool, so it's worth making a video on it, because this one closes and opens in just 0.3 seconds, while being pretty small and seamless as well. So let me just show you how it looks. Closes like this, and opens like this, so really nice animation. As you can see, we managed to do the 3 pistons on top and 1 on the side, which makes the animation on the opening really synchronized and nice, just like this. So yeah. Anyways, let's show you how to make this. Alright, so this is what you will need, not really a lot, and this dirt here can be any item, it just needs to go to the dropper. Okay, so your area for the door will be 3x10 and 11 blocks tall. And let's start by placing in our door frame. So we want to go up 4 blocks. So basically this is your floor level, and then you need 3 blocks below. And now we just place a 3x3 frame, so that we have an extra layer on the right here, 3 below, and it's in the center of this. So yeah, it's like in the middle of these 3 blocks here. Okay, so for the layout, we start by having a piston here, 2 pistons here, 1 piston here, and then 3 pistons on the top, like this. And then we have a double extender right here, folded double extender like this. And now our side will look like this. Alright, so let me just show you how this layout works. If you don't know it, it might be a little bit confusing. So for the closing, we do this and this. And then we just push in these blocks like so, and push in this block. And also retract this. And now to prepare for the opening, we will need to do this, 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 and also this. Alright, so that's the closing. And now for the opening, we will retract these 3 blocks instantly. And 3 game ticks, we retract this piston and all these blocks here, as well as this piston and this block. And then 6 game ticks, we retract this, this, and we push in this. And this is how it works. So yeah, let's start wiring it. But before we actually do anything, we need a movable block here and a movable block here. Alright, so let's start by zero ticking this piston for the closing at 0 game ticks by powering this block, which is just directly connected to our input like this. And to zero tick it, we will just pull up the block after we power it. So let's do that. So let's come back here, place a block with dust, and a piston facing to the right, piston facing to the left. This will update this by the slider here, like so. Now we need a stair which faces like so, like glass block or just any movable block, 3 redstone blocks, and then finally our return piston here in the top. Now to power this, we will have this block, this downwards piston, and then we will have this observer in between like this. And to update it, we will need a hopper right here, actually right here, solid block, 2 dust, and then finally our updater piston. Now we need one more thing though, because this wouldn't go down by itself, at least not always. So we need to update this piston at 1 or 2 game ticks, so that the top can push down at 3, which is really simple, just a piston here, and this observer updates it at 2. Alright, now to get the 0 tick finally, we just place 2 slabs and 2 dust. Alright, so if you're extra smart, you might have noticed that we have like too much block event delay for the 0 tick. We actually don't need that much, but the reason we have this much is because we use the slider to get this pulse here as well, and this way we can just combine the 2 things basically. Alright, so this will 0 tick this piston, and next we need to 0 tick this, also 0 game ticks. So to achieve this, node block here, sticky piston with the redstone block. Now this will power the piston here, but it won't always extend, it's actually directional, we need an updater. And the update will come from these blocks here, so this gets powered, and then this sticky piston here updates that one. Alright, now to actually make a 0 tick, we will just retract this block here, with this piston. And to do this, we will place a piston here, node block next to it, so it's updated because it's being QC'd from here. Something on top of the node block so we don't get the ugly noise. And then a redstone block here, sticky piston on top, node block here, and then just a torch like this. Alright, so this will do the closing for these 2 blocks. let's do the singles. So actually also powers the middle one because this block ends up here 3 game ticks. Well, at 2, but the piston will extend to 3. Now for this piston, all we need to do is place a torch on the node block. And now for these pistons here, we come onto the top. 2 slabs, 2 node blocks, solid block on top of the second one, 3 dust, and a sticky piston on the block. Then a torch on the side of the obsidian or whatever immovable block you used. Then 2 blocks like this, node block. Now we need some dust, which we place like this. So this takes care of this, and then we just go up like so to power these pistons here. Alright, so that should be the first part of the closing done, like this. Let's just reset this like so. Place this back here. Alright, now next up we want to power this piston here 3 game ticks. And for that we need a little bit of the side update chain here. So we have a sticky piston with a redstone block, which we will butt. So for now we just keep this redstone block. Sticky piston here, another redstone block, then 2 dust. And the way we get the pulse for this piston will be by this observer and with this block. Alright, now we want to re-extend this here and yeah, keep the butt basically. So what we are going to do is come up with this observer, dust, then a hopper here, another observer into a block, and then 3 more observers like this. So coming out of the dust that's on top of the first slab, not just around the corner. And now we can remove this. And yeah, so that powers it. So it's being perceived from here, the dust updates it. Because this is no longer here when this powers, so the dust powers and updates it. But it actually won't extend because it needs an update. And the way we will get the update is actually by this dropper here. So dropper facing up, then we update it by placing a block next to it, and then just an observer. Alright, so now we need one more thing though, which is this piston. And the reason we need this is because this will actually power twice, because this goes up and then goes down again. But we don't want this piston to power twice, because then this will close the block and just retract it again. So this way we just dodge the second pulse and then just place the block back. Alright, so that should be the entire closing. If we just replace this, we can test it, like so. Alright, so let's just yeah, open it, reset everything, and then we should do the opening for this bottom here, and then we can do the closing and opening for this corner. Alright, so first we need the 3 game peak delay for this piston here, and the way we will be getting this is by yeah, just moving a block below, which we will be getting powered by a torch right here. And the way we power this piston is with an observer below, and this observer will detect a leaf, which will just be next to it, block here, and a piston here. And now we'll just connect this piston to this redstone block. So slab here, block here, another slab down here. And now we need a target block here, and then 3 dust. Yeah, and this will just power 3 game ticks to get the correct timing for this. And now we'll just use this dust line here for the first block, like so. So just go up, block here, slab here, then observer pointing down, and then just dust on top, and a solid block here. Alright, so as you notice, this is permanently on, which is bad, obviously. So what we are going to do is we will toggle it, and the way we achieve this is by having a block here, sticky piston here, then a piston facing down over here. So what we are going to do is, on the closing, we will retract this, and this just extends. Then in the opening, this will retract, and then we just push this in again, and then this re-extends. And this way, this won't power again when this turns on. Alright, now to actually spit this back out, all we need to do is place a stair right here. So make sure this is like a corner stair, or whatever you call them. So basically changes block state when this moves. Then observer pointing up, dust on top, observer pointing down, a rail on top, just a block. And now, so this doesn't break, we need a hopper here. So this way this can't push down while this block is over here. Alright, so that should be the extender here, but we also need a final pulse. So let's get that in. So we will actually just push this block from here to here again for the opening, because this works both ways. So we power this block with this observer, with this leaf and the log over here. This will get an instant 0 tick, so it just teleports this over here, and this powers a 3, only in the opening. Right, now to actually make the 0 tick though, we need to remove this block. And the way we do this is by just pushing it down with the piston. And now this will just be getting powered from some dust. So on top of this leaf, we place the redstone block, slab, block up, 2 dust, and then next to the block, we place a node block, and then a soil block on top. Alright, so this is just permanently on right now, and the way we control it is we just place a sticky piston here and a block. So in the closing, this will just retract, this will also retract, but this is late enough so that this pulse doesn't matter. But actually, well, this actually doesn't power in the closing, so it's fine anyways. Then the opening just turns on a 3, and also a 3, but with more block event delay, this retracts, which makes this uncut, which makes this extend and 0 tick. Alright, so that takes care of this piston and this piston. Well, actually, we need something to make this retract. And the way we do this by placing piston here, 2 blocks like this, and then a torch right here. Alright, so that takes care of those. And now all we need is this piston here. So we will just teleport back this redstone block here, 3 game ticks, which will make this unpower 3. Well, actually power 3 and this unpower 3. And we already have 0 tick from over here, so all we need is to connect it to this. So 2 blocks, 2 dust, and that's it. Alright, so that's almost the entire bottom. We just see one more thing, and that is this sticky piston. And the reason for that is because when this redstone block here goes back, we get another 0 tick here in this redstone dust line. And this could make it so that this piston places this here, and then this pushes it back in the same tick, and we don't want that. So we just remove the block, and then we just pull it back. This way we dodge the second pulse. Alright, so now we can test the bottom, just the closing, and the opening. Alright, so let's do the side now. First step, we need to retract this block here for the closing. And the way we do this is by placing a sticky piston right here where this dust goes down. Just replace this. And just a block on top. That does it. So this will just go up instantly, which means the dust is no longer redirected. This will turn on at 2 and turn off at 4, and it will just power the piston through the block. So next step, then we need to power this piston, then this, and then we need to extend this piston when it's over here. Alright, so to power this piston, we will power this block. And I have this node block here to up at the piston. Now to power it, we have this observer here, block behind. Place your sealing block and a slab right here, 2 dust, observer going up, and a redstone dust. Alright, so as you might notice, this will also power this piston here. But it actually doesn't matter because these here turn off at 3 and this powers from 4 to 6, which means that this piston can never power from this. Because it doesn't have any block event delay. Alright, so this would actually power the piston, but we will turn this pulse into a 0 tick because then we can use it for the opening as well. So we will just retract this block at the same timing but with extra block event delay. And the way we do this is by just having a redstone block next to it and retracting that with this piston. So 2 blocks here, 2 rails, and then an observer over here. Alright, so this retracts it, and now we just need to place it back, and that's really simple. Observer here and a block. Alright, so that powers this piston, and to power this we just place this observer. Super simple. And now to power the piston over here, we will use this hopper here, drop a hopper circuit by placing a block here, placing an item in the hopper, a slab next to the observer, then a comparator, and a block here. So this will turn off at 2 game ticks and turn back on at 8. And this is the perfect timing so that when this piston arrives over here, it will always power. And we also use this for the opening because it turns off at 2, which means that this piston here, that one will no longer be powered at 2 game ticks, but it only realizes it can turn off once this has finished retracting, and then just pulls up at 3 game ticks automatically. And this way we get the timing really simple. So just replace this, drag this, like so. Alright, so that should actually be the closing done. We can actually test it, I guess. So it does this. And if we place this block, we should also see the first part of the opening. Like so. Alright, now to fix this, just unpower this, place this here and repower it. Alright, so actually we are almost done here. All we need to do now is get the fold here. So we already have this piston because it's done by this. This turns over 6 game ticks. Then we also have the second pulse because we just reuse this in the opening. So all we really need now is to speed up the first retraction here by removing this block at 3 game ticks. And then teleporting in the block here to make it seamless. Alright, so let's do this piston first. All we are going to do is extend our ceiling here, place 2 blocks like so, and then dust here. In theory it will already work because this turns off at 3 game ticks, but right now we have the problem that this will never retract the block here, and the closing will break because we wouldn't dodge the second pulse. So instead what we're going to do is we just block this line, and just unblock it later during the closing, so that this still dodges the pulse, and we get the block event delay from this dust line here. Alright, this is really easy, just a slab here, so the dust can still go up. And the repeater on 1 tick. 1 redstone tick. Alright, now all we need to do is get this seamless block here. And first up we need to place a piston facing downwards right here. And then we place a target block right here. So this will just push up, replace this. And now we come in here. And this is a little bit difficult to place, but we need a sticky piston facing down. And then we can just have a piston on top, push it down, and that's it. Alright, so if I just remove this, you might notice that this basically is a 0-tick repeater, downwards 1. So we have our piston that pushes down the target block, our return piston, our updater piston, and then this piston is just a piston here we need the power. So yeah, we just power this, and this will do it for us here. So replace your dropper. Well, obviously you shouldn't have broken this. If you did, then I'm sorry. But yeah, anyways, replace everything. And now all we need to do is power this here at 6 game ticks. Well, it needs to turn off at 6. And this is also really, really easy. All we need is this sticky piston and this observer. So in closing, this will just go over at 6 and do nothing because this piston blocks it because it's powered from the input. Then in the opening, this observer will turn on at 5 because this piston here powers it. And then at 6 it gets retracted by this piston. And then we have our 0-tick gen. By the way, if you're wondering how this gets powered, is at 6 game ticks these blocks have returned, and then this just is on and this as well. So the target block can power this piston. Alright, so let's test the door. It should actually be done already. Yeah, just like this. Alright, now we can fill in our door frame like so. Give it one final test, but everything should be fine. So let's see. Closes and opens. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope my tutorial and explanation made somewhat sense. But yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.